So again, we're still in chapter 13, how to grow your wealth, paying very little or no IRS taxes legally. So as I sold my 45 single family, so where we're picking this up is about 45 single family residents up to 2016, and I realized I wasn't scalable. Why? Why did I realize it wasn't scalable? Because how I bought them for the best appreciation. I bought them for the most equity, the best cash flow, right? Which sounds great. You're like, Wally, what's wrong with that? Well, they were all spread out all over Dallas-Fort Worth, spread out all over Texas, and it just made it really difficult to have 19 different property managers reach out to me for this or that, because it was 45 different single family. So the challenge that I had was the model worked so well, I succeeded so well, but so did my mortgage business. So how did I juggle it all? So I grew too fast, and why I grew too fast, unfortunately, I grew too fast that showed the weakness in my systems. You're probably going to experience the same thing in your mortgage business as you grow quickly and rates start coming back down. But where I lost scalability was the 45 single family were spread out all over Texas, which made it absolutely difficult to have one systemized way to have a person contacting. As you grow and you buy your first rental property, you buy your second rental property, your third rental property, just make sure proximity is also important, so you can have one property manager that manages all of them. I missed that clue, but that made me lack scalability. So which turned out in my favor, what I ended up doing is I look back, I needed to build a team around me. I needed to build a team just like I was a loan officer that built a loan officer assistant. As I'm a real estate investor, I needed to build an asset manager is what they're called. And that asset manager helps manage the property managers. There needed to be a buffer between me so I can make actual residual income. I was getting ready to pull my hair out because it was so difficult. I mean, you got to remember, in 2013, I was doing 36 million in loans. By 2015, I was doing 81 million in loans. And by 2016, the year we're talking about, I was doing over almost $100 million in loans. I think that year I did like $96 million in loans in 2016. When you're doing $96 million in loans in 2016 and building a team and running the mortgage branch, you just don't have all the time in the world to be able to sit down with a property manager and go through this or go through that. The number one key, and I really want you to understand this, is there's something called a 1031 exchange, okay? From the books that I read and the seminars I went to and the investor networks, it was able to teach me that I can do a 1031 exchange, and a 1031 exchange sold all the 45 single family, netted about $6 million worth of equity from those properties. Again, it took me years to build up. Netted about $6 million from those properties, and I didn't pay any taxes on that. That's the power of a 1031 exchange account. It allows you to be able to move your equity and your appreciation from one asset to another asset without having to pay taxes on it. And also, there is no capital gains, you can keep having your depreciation and also your cost segregation. This gave me access to equity to be able to grow my wealth and go start buying apartment complexes. So today I own 11 apartment complexes, but how did I get to that, right? If you've learned anything about me in mortgage, I have a vision, I break it down into systemized steps, and I take those systemized steps and I start implementing the most important one first, the second most important one, the third most important. The key of having big dreams is breaking it down in bite-sized pieces and executing those steps. It takes bravery. You've got to fight boredom. You should hear that a third time. You've got to fight boredom, and you've got to desire consistency. All three of those build a great real estate portfolio, which allows me to pay very little or no IRS taxes. As my cash flow increased, so did my write-offs. Now at that stage, I was making north of $1 million a year in mortgage, which was great. Everything was awesome, but I wasn't really too excited about paying the IRS over $400,000 in taxes. That just didn't excite me very well. So hiring a tax strategist, I was able to learn how to scale. Again, I went to a leader, I went to an influencer, I went to a coach in that space that was an expert in that space, and that taught me this. So something I learned, that every level of success, there's a professional and an amateur stage. I was in an amateur stage in the sake of the multifamily apartment complex game, but I became a professional in the stage of the investment property single family game. So when I'm in this new game and I'm in this new arena, just like if you're going after realtors, you're probably a professional. Once you start going after CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys, what are you? You're an amateur. However, I've learned to be able to learn from my losses more than I've learned from my wins. I've learned to embrace failure and learn how to fail forward. I've learned not to criticize myself and not judge myself on my failures, but also to judge myself and motivate myself off my successes within reason. The mindset I want you to have as you go to this next chapter: how did I go from scaling now 79 rentals in 2019 to be able to 487 rentals? That's 487 John Smiths that pay me rent every single month. Well, most of them. Sometimes you've got evict some people or some people move out. But it's over 400 households, 400 families or 400 people that go to work every day to send me a check. That's the power of the residual income. And once I get that check, not only is my equity going up, not only is my write-offs going up, but then my taxes I pay on my mortgage income is zero, if not very little every year. If you want to know how I built that, I'll see you at the next video.